Yes.
So besides just the job, how do you pay for training?
All right, so besides just your Joe job, how do you pay for training?
Who's gonna go?
Go ahead.
I'll go. How do I pay for training? I guess so.
The first year.
Well, I'm trying to remember who has is it DTRC? Is it Cara? Is it Cara? Okay, so if you become a Cara member, which is the Canadian Alliance of Dance Artists, there's a subsidy. So that means that a percentage of the fees that you pay for class will be given back to you. So that's always helpful, number one. I do a lot of work on my own, so I've done funny things like energy exchanges, where I'll clean the toilets at the studio in exchange for hours. And so I just don't have to pay. But it also means that I have to schedule in that hour once a week to go take the garbage out and clean the toilet. But if that means I can have studio space for free, then I think it's incredibly worth it, and I recommend it. And just, budgeting is really important, and looking at money coming in and really keeping track of where it's going and putting aside enough to say, okay, X amount each month is going to go towards training. And maybe that means that I just take a week workshop for that 1 month because it's a bit more expensive, or maybe that means that I'm going once a week to, I don't know, Sean's parkour class or something. But you just make room. You just make room and find ways to do it, I think.
So when I was in my 4th year at Ryerson, I worked with Daryl Tracy, who was choreographing a work, and Daryl's been my mentor since then. And so my first year after graduating Ryerson this summer, Daryl was teaching at the National Ballet School and was like, hey, do you want to come assist me for a month? And so it was a little bit of pay, but I still got to do 3 classes a day for free, which was awesome. So building those sort of network connections, assisting, being a demonstrator, I've done a lot of that, so yeah.
And so CADA that Cara was mentioning, the Canadian Alliance of Dance Artists, it's not just for training, maybe particularly like ballet training or contemporary training, but the training subsidy program will also cover fitness memberships, yoga, Pilates, anything that's related to your physical training. And it's a few times a year that you can, if you register as a member with CADA, you can get up to $300 back towards what you are paying towards. It's it's a little bit of help, but it's something that a lot of professional artists, dance artists, don't access a lot and are not aware that they can access. So I'd really encourage you to visit that website and look for those opportunities.
I just have one more quick thing as well, that all of your training can be written off when you do your taxes. So remember to keep your receipts from all the classes you go to, because you'll get your taxes back from that. So that's also, every little bit kind of helps. So please remember to do that.
There's a lot of opportunity to train for free or next to free if you know the right people. So network, shake the right hands, get to know people. Like, you guys have all met me now. I teach breaking. I don't know if anybody here is ever done street styles, but I teach breaking, or I have networks to tons of other people who teach all different disciplines that, if you just hang out with them, work with them, they practice too, so you can train with them in that fashion as well. It doesn't have to be traditional class, pay the studio training. There's opportunities out there. You just have to search.
All right, anyone else have a question? Yes.
In terms of writing stuff off for taxes, I know because I've done marketing work, like we usually register ourselves as like a personal small business. Have you guys all done that, and is that how you write it off? Yeah.
Are you guys all registered as businesses?
Yes.
To write it off?
And is that like relatively easy to do?
Yeah.
And was that easy?
Yeah, you just keep all your receipts. Write down what they're for, like what category they're in. And you find a good accountant or work with somebody like Dance Umbrella of Ontario. They'll really help you out in that fashion. And again, just keep all your receipts, keep record of everything, and you have a good opportunity to write everything off.
But even as an individual, like before you get into business, like I'm registered as a not-for-profit, and then eventually, like depending on if you're doing producing work, you want to get into a charitable status and that sort of thing. But for years, you can just as an individual artist, whether you're a musician or a dancer, if that's what your livelihood is, then you're any classes you take, even cosmetic things that you need for shows, facials. Hair stuff. I mean, as long as it's pertaining to what you're doing as a dancer, costumes, all that stuff can go into your individual tax return, and you don't need an accountant necessarily for all that.
Yeah, and also I'm really bad with that stuff, so I pay $50 every year to have someone do it for me, and it's great. Just keep your receipts, and someone can do it for you.
All right, so I'm going to ask a question now. What was the best resource that you have found anytime that you wish you knew about in your first year?
Well, I have a resource that I found in my first year, and it's Dance Ontario. They gave me my first grant, and every year for 4 or 5 years now, I've worked with Dance Ontario. So yay, Dance Ontario. They've been really great.
I also love Dance Ontario. For my business, Quick Ball Change, I put advertisements up there for free, and people check, studios check, people who employ you check, and they check this out, and you can make updated advertisements, and even for employment opportunities, if you want to be a teacher, if you want to adjudicate, it's all in a column there, and that will help you as well get work and make work for yourself. And personally, because I am represented by an agency, and the line of work that I do is different. I don't create it myself. I don't have as creative as a mind. I'm a dancer. I like to do what I'm told. So I've actually worked for Pamela. I've been in one of her pieces. Which was incredible. And once I was represented by an agency, they sent me out for auditions. I get to go to closed auditions. And once your face gets out there, you don't have to audition anymore. They know who you are, and they pick up the phone and they make you an offer. So for me and my path that I took, I found that very helpful. So getting your package together, and mind you, I pay 10% to my agent plus HST on every work that they help me get. So I pay them their service, and I get work in return.
I think that for me, there are a couple of online resources that I really appreciate and I get a lot of information from. Actually, workinculture.ca, I've gotten a lot of sort of gigs from, like just jobs that are within the arts still. I subscribe to the Instant Coffee email list, and that's a really diverse list about different artistic things that are happening, and there's a regional, a national, and an international list that you can join. And I hear about a lot of calls for festivals or different projects, different galleries, things like that, different theaters. I'm trying to think of what else. John Newton's list, which is, I don't really know how to, maybe someone will know the address. I don't know it off the top of my head, sorry.
I think it's Nureyev.
Yeah. It's just an email list that a community
He's on
enthusiast.
Facebook.
Yeah.
If you write him on Facebook, he'll add you to the list.
And so he puts out maybe one a day or something of different, it's sort of like the dance community's bulletin board, where people post things, oh, I have this show coming up, oh, I'm teaching this class this week, that just information about things. And I think the Love-In has really been quite instrumental in terms of classes and meeting people and just being a part of a really great group of individuals and who are really intelligent artists doing amazing things. So.
The best resource I came across in the past few years has actually been Matt Sweet's organization, who he's our...
Could have just said Matt Sweet.
No, it's not Matt Sweet. It's Dance Umbrella of Ontario. You guys should definitely check them out. They really help us dive into the not-for-profit world, and found us opportunities for grants, found us opportunities for networking, and even things like this are through Dance Umbrella of Ontario for my organization. But for you guys, the best networking opportunity, the best resource is me. So write down my website, supernaturals.com, with a Z. /lethal. See, I'm selling myself, See, this is what I'm talking about. Honestly, you have to do this because you got to let people know who you are and what you do. Because, one person is going to talk, be like, this is a great dancer from York, this great dancer from Ryerson, and your name is going to get dropped. And as soon as your name gets dropped, it circulates in the circles. So your best resource is you and selling yourself through the networks that are out there. Go to shows, shake hands, meet people. That's the best way to do it.
Yeah, I think, I agree with the last part that, there's a lot of information with, Facebook and all these different lists, and all that's great, but I think really going to see what's happening in the city there's so many different dance companies and so many different dance styles, and trying to meet people, Dance Ontario Dance Weekend, for example, is a great place to just see so much dance in one place at the Harbourfront Centre. Those are trying to get out and not get glued to Facebook and texting and stuff.
This isn't really a resource in terms of the sense that we've been talking about, but I think for me and my success and many of the successes of, I think, the people on this panel, it's tapping into your own sense of bravery, just being brave and saying, yeah, I'm going to go talk to, I don't know, Tina Rasmussen at the Harbourfront Centre, and I'm going to shake her hand and make sure she knows my name by the end of that conversation. That's a really difficult thing to do, and it's a hard resource to tap, but once you sort of get over the fact that you're shaking and sweating and it's gross, that's going to be really helpful, I think, and I wish I had known that earlier.
You're all performers. You're performing your whole life, right? You should be used to this. Getting nervous is part of the process, so get over it, just keep doing it. Perform your whole life. Don't be fake though, be yourself. Perform yourself.
Yes.
I have a question about international experience. When is it best to leave Toronto?
When is it best to leave Toronto and seek some international experience?
If that's me. Well, I was happy the time that I did do it. I didn't do it for very long. I was out there for 4 months. But I think right at the beginning is a great time. You've been here for a while, but I was going to go away again this year, and I was thinking, like, if I leave the scene now, that people are going to forget about me for a few years or whatever. So I think it's good to do it, and it might even be that you've been in school and you just need some time away. But being out at the beginning, it was good. Yeah. And that way you come back and your friends are still your friends, right? So you still have a network of people.
That's funny. I had an opportunity in the summer to present a piece in Zurich in Switzerland, and so I think that that's a really nice way to travel as well, is to actually have opportunities for presentations, so that you go and immediately I was dropped into this festival with all these people who are presenting with me, and there was like this little group. There was a network right there, and so I really got to know people, and because I had that opportunity, I thought, well, I'm going to be here anyhow, why not take an extra 3 weeks, and I'm going to look around at places that are close by, and I'm going to go to the Impulse Dance Festival in Vienna. I'm going to go to, I don't know, to just look around and try to kind of group things together so that it's not just there and back, that you go and you extend the opportunity, you make it a little bit bigger than maybe it was at the first, so that you can really find opportunities. And I've done a lot of traveling through just festivals and film screenings, and I'm presenting something here, cool, I get to go there and meet people there and talk with them and move with them, so